I am Afreen Fatima from Allahabad, India. My father has been unjustly and illegally arrested by Allahabad police. And so on June 10th, there was a protest that was organized post Juma Namaz against objectionable comments that were made against Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And following the protest was a clash between the police and the protesters. Police then used this to punish, humiliate and harass Muslim leaders and activists of the town who have been active for a long time in the city, my father being one of them. At around 8:50 p.m., the police arrives at my house and asks my father to accompany them to the police station. My father readily agrees because he has been in touch with the local administration and he himself was worried about the situation that was the tense situation that was building up in the city between the police and the Muslims, and we were hearing about arrests and detentions that were happening, and my father was concerned about all that was happening, and he was also concerned that it is going to be a one-sided inquiry and Muslims will be punished and Muslims will pay the price. There was no warrant when he was taken away. There was no notice that was given to us when he was taken away. The police just said that they want to talk to him about what had happened earlier. And then at around 12:30 a.m., the police again comes to our house and detains my mother and my younger sister. Again, without a warrant, without any notice. They just said that they want to take them for some investigation. Now, I must point out that at this point of time, we still did not know that our father was being suspected or was being investigated. All we knew was that he went with the police on his own vehicle to talk about what had happened in the city. When my mother and my sister were being taken, the police was aggressive, they were intimidating, and they did not give my mother or my sister the time to even process. My mother and my sister, the entire family was already anxious and stressed about why our father was taken away. Following which, we were not told, the police did not disclose with us where our father was or where our mother and sister were. Then at around 2:30 a.m., the police again comes to our house and asks my sister-in-law and me to accompany them to the police station. We denied, saying that it's late at night and it is illegal to arrest or detain women at post 6 p.m. And there's, in fact, the detention of my mother and my sister was illegal because to detain females for any inquiry or any investigation, the police first has to get a written permission from the magistrate before detaining them, which was never done. When we denied that we will not be going, the police then started intimidating us into leaving our house, into vacating our house. They said that they wanted to seal our house and they wanted to lock our house from outside. We resisted and said that we will not be leaving our house. I must again point out, until this time also, we do not know where my father was or where my mother and sister were. The police stayed outside of our house until 11 a.m. the next morning and continuously pestered us and intimidated us to leave our house, to vacate our house. They did not give us a reason why, they did not tell us anything, and again, we still did not know where my father was or where my sister were. We tried to send family members to take my father's medicine to the police station, whichever police station he was in, and also my mother's medication to whichever police station she was in. The lawyers were also not allowed to meet them, and it was just a very tense and anxious situation for everyone. We did not know what was happening. We did not know that my father was being framed as the mastermind of the violence, of the clash that broke out post-protests. Then at around, I think, 11 a.m. on 11th of June, we we got to know that my father was called the mastermind and that he was one of the prime suspects and that he was arrested. And this too we did not get to know from the police. We got to know this from sensational headlines of right-wing media channels. Again, the entire day, 11th of June, we had no idea where my mother and sister were taken to, which police station, what the police was doing with them. But then at around 8 p.m. on 11th of June, we got a call from my mother, who in a very distressed and hurried voice asked us to leave the house, to vacate the house, because the police said that they wanted to demolish our house. We were not served any notice until then. It was only at 11 p.m. at night when the police pasted a notice in front of on the main gate of our house, saying that we must vacate our house by 11 a.m. the next morning, and the police will the development authorities will then come and demolish our house, citing that it was an illegal construction. We had never been given any notice prior to this particular notice, and in fact even this notice was never given to us. It was just pasted on our door. We had been paying our house tax, our water taxes, and all other our electricity bills. Everything was registered on this house, and we had been paying all these taxes, and we were never told that our house was an illegal construction or anything of that sort. We were never served any notice prior to this. This was just a way to punish my father for being an active, vocal member of the Muslim community. I must point out that the house that was then demolished is not my father's house. It belongs to my mother. My mother pays all the taxes. My mother pays the water tax, the house tax, the electricity bills, and everything else. The police illegally, along with the development authorities, Allahabad development authorities, were hand in gloves with the law enforcement to illegally demolish our house. They then went on to fabricate things to incriminate my father, and then to also make me a suspect of the violence that happened in Allahabad. It is an alarming trend that is being noticed in India, where the law enforcement, along with the government, along with the development authorities, arbitrarily, unjustly, illegally, lawlessly demolishes Muslim households and punishes Muslims, incarcerates Muslims for no crime at all. The same thing has happened to me and my family. We are being punished, and this punish is a collective punishment to the entire Muslim community. That you cannot speak up. That you should not speak up. That you should not be concerned about the rising intolerance against your community. That you should not take a stand against laws like the Citizenship Amendment Act that are not just unconstitutional but inhuman and violate all sorts of human rights. The way the law enforcement has incriminated my father, and the way that the right-wing media has portrayed my father, point a finger towards only one direction. That is, that there is some conspiracy that is being planned, that the government wants to teach Muslims who are vocal, who are concerned about community issues, and who actively work to solve community issues, to punish them and to teach a lesson to everyone in the Muslim community. I urge everyone to not just speak up about this, but to hold authorities and law enforcement and governments accountable for the arbitrary and lawless power that they exercise over Muslim bodies, Muslim houses, and Muslim lives.